Tonight we will be taking a look at my game collection on my PlayStation 4 console. I have 120 games that I have in my library here. Most of these games I haven't finished, and some of them I haven't even started. They're just something that I bought on a whim, or I downloaded it as the games of the month on the PS Plus program. But we'll go through each one of them, and I'll tell you whatever comes to mind about each and single one of them. So let's begin. So, A Way Out. This is a demo that I downloaded once it came available, and I really like the story of it. Well, the story that unfolds a bit in this demo, but I never really got through it because I don't have a friend who I can play it with. This way it's supposed to be played by 2 players, so my wife doesn't really play that much games, so I don't have anyone online that would like to play it and hasn't played it. Since one of my friends has played it and liked it a lot. But what's the point of going through a story-driven campaign twice? Alienation. This is something that I downloaded on a whim, and I think it was a PlayStation Plus program game. I tried it for a couple of minutes, and it really wasn't my cup of tea, to say. Amnesia. Now, I really do not like regular horror games, but this is something more akin to horror movie that isn't solely based on jump scares, and that's why I like this game a bit. I haven't finished it because it's really scary. There's lots of jump scares in this too, so haven't got the time to play it, so haven't finished it yet. Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry. I used to love the Assassin's Creed games back from 1 to 2 and mostly even the number 3 one, but ever since the 4th one or the 5th one, I think it was called Syndicate, it kind of got repetitive in nature, and it just seemed like the same old game over and over again. I really haven't played the new ones, like Origins, but I think I'll get around to those 2 at some point. As for Freedom Cry, this is another PlayStation Plus game that I downloaded and haven't played, well, maybe for 30 minutes or so. And Assassin's Creed Unity. This Assassin's Creed I enjoyed because of the setting. It was set in France, and you can see all these legendary places in France and Paris. So that's why I like this game a lot. And I really like the story of this one too. Batman, the Telltale series games. This another PlayStation Plus download. I really haven't started it, and the main reason is that I really don't like these Telltale games so much because it seems it's mostly based on exploration, and the exploration is very limited in these games. So, and the story, while people say it's good, it's really slow-paced, and the gameplay itself is, well, it's basically one long quick time event game in a sense. Batman Arkham Knight. Now this one I really enjoyed because it was the culmination of the Arkham trilogy. really didn't like the game in the sense, well, I mean the story, in the sense that they introduced this new character, which, well, if you play the game, you know that it's really not a new character in a sense. It's just something that wasn't in the comics in this form, so I wouldn't call it a ripoff, but I felt a bit fooled by this company. But the gameplay itself is fantastic, and especially on the PS4 Pro, the graphics are just insane. As for the Battlefield series, these two, a couple of them I have paid for. I paid for the Battlefield 1. I really don't like modern shooters the way like Call of Duty or something like that, because they are way too fast-paced for me. And with all these rocket jumps and things like that, I really do not enjoy them that much. So I had high hopes for this Battlefield 1, and I really like the campaign on it, but I haven't really played the multiplayer that much. Neither have I played Hardline or the Battlefield 4. They're just something that I downloaded on a whim. Like, maybe if I don't have anything else to do, I can play these FPS games. But they just get really dull and repetitive for me. Beyond Eyes. Now this is a smaller studio game, the first one from this list, I'd say. It's a story about a blind girl who follows sounds to know where she is. I won't spoil it that much more, but it's a beautiful game, a short one. It lasts for something like 2 or 3 hours max, but it's beautiful in its graphic design and music and story too. Beyond Two Souls. Now this is something that we played with my wife together. She played the Spirit. I think it was called Aiden. I'm not entirely sure. But what drew me to this game was the fact that this was a story-driven game and with real actors, so to say, like Willem Dafoe and Ellen Page, I think, was the titular character here. The graphics are beautiful, and the story, while a bit too sci-fi for me, was something that I really enjoyed. Bloodborne, the ultimate gamer's game, so to say, and that's why I haven't really played it. I downloaded it once it came available on the PlayStation Plus, but there's something about these RPGs that really I don't like. And as for the Bloodborne and the Dark Souls series, I'm more of a casual gamer, so I really don't like games that don't offer an easy option, or the one where you can just follow along the story. Borderlands, the Handsome Collection. Now this encompasses number 2 and the pre-sequel. I kind of bought this as a whim on one evening, but I really enjoyed it. At least the number 2 one. I really didn't play the pre-sequel one right after it, because it was getting a bit the same all the time, but the number 2 one I really enjoyed. And there's something very, how did I describe it, cathartic about playing a game where you constantly are leveling up and doing more damage and facing bigger foes and taking them down. One of the things I really enjoyed about Borderlands is the fact that it has this beautiful cell shade kind of technology on the graphics. Child of Light, another game I played for about 30 minutes and didn't really get into it. It was I don't know what it was. It was a bit too dull for my taste, at least the beginning of it, so really didn't get too much into it. Crash Bandicoot, the Insane Trilogy. Now, I grew up playing these games, and it was fantastic to see that they revived it in this way for modern gamers and for modern consoles, and kept this series the same in the way that they didn't change the level design or add anything too much to it. It was really a blast to enjoy these old games in this new form. Darksiders 2 and 3, something I downloaded, never played. Dear Esther, Landmark Edition. This is something of what some people would say is an walking simulator in the sense that it doesn't have too much action. It's more of a story-driven game, and for what it is, it's a really good experience. I wouldn't call it the most gameplay-wise, it wasn't the most exciting one, but the story is beautiful and the music is just amazing. And we'll get to this studio's another game a bit later on. Destiny 2. I downloaded this when it came available on the PlayStation Plus program, but haven't really played it that much. I used to play the first Destiny a bit more, but Destiny 2 didn't really get around too much into it. About 2 or 3 hours, and then it just kind of dulled down on me. Four packs of Detroit Become Human. Well, there's art and there's a demo and all that. So Detroit Become Human is from the same studio that made Beyond Two Souls, and though I really like the art style and the visuals of this game, I played this for something like 5 to 7 hours, and I really tried to get into it, but it's hard to make a sci-fi game. I would be interested in something with cyborgs and AIs and all that, so this wasn't really just my cup of tea, so I passed on it. Deus Ex Mankind Divided. This again is one of those games that I downloaded because of all the praise it got, but I just found it really boring. I'm sorry. Wipeouts, a classic game, played it a bit here and there, not too much. Dirt Rally. Now this is something I downloaded about 2 hours ago, so I haven't really played it that much. It's this month's PlayStation Plus game, so I enjoy a couple tracks of a good driving game here and there, but not too much. Dishonored 2. Now, Dishonored 1 was something that I really enjoyed, but the second one, well, it continued too much in the same manner, and it was a bit too dull for my taste, so I really didn't bother playing it for more than a couple of hours here and there, so passed on that one too. DMC Devil May Cry Definitive Edition. Now, I haven't played the old Devil May Cry games, but I really enjoyed their art style when I saw videos of them, and I had high hopes for this. It's a great fighting game, I'd say, hack and slash game, but I really disliked the way they went with the main character Dante, because he just seems like a bratty kid in this one. So otherwise it's a great game, really good game, but the main character is just dull and kind of annoying. Now this shows that I only have the Doom demo, but I also got the full game, and I really enjoyed it. It was a nice blast from the past where you didn't have to think too much. You just had to shoot everything that moves. Drawn to Death. Tried a couple of rounds of this too. Didn't really like it. Either one. Played for half an hour. Didn't really get into it. Maybe I'll give it a second chance. Now this. Everybody's gone to the Rapture. Besides the biggest games on PS4 like The Last of Us, well, it was already on the PS3, but anyhow, Last of Us and Metal Gear Solid and all those big games, if I had to recommend one game to anyone playing PlayStation or other consoles this is on, it would be this one. This is an absolutely amazing game with great visuals, great story, and the most beautiful soundtrack you'll ever hear. I won't spoil the story so much, and it's kind of a walking simulator, but it takes about 6 to 7 hours to complete the campaign, and you'll just feel breathless after it. It's an amazing, amazing game that deserves way more praise than it got. Formula 1, didn't play it too much. As with Death Rally, I downloaded it because it was free and it stays in my library. Far Cry 4. Again with the FPS genre. Didn't like them too much if there's not a great story involved, and this one was a bit too dull for me. Just a demo of FIFA. Firewatcher. Now this is something of an odd one also because it's kind of a walking simulator, but there's a bit more to do than just walk around and look at things. And it's another story-driven game, and it's completely awesome in my mind. Yet again, it takes only 5 to 7 hours to complete, but those are just mostly diamond, not too much filler in the story. But you play as this Firewatch man in a park, and you make this relationship with another Firewatcher on the other side of the park through radio communication only. And it's probably one of the best voice acting performances I've ever heard in a game by these two people, so definitely worth checking out. Flower, something of a, I would say, spiritual game, and something that you can just spend a couple of minutes on, 10 minutes, 20, just floating around as a flower, and enjoy the beautiful music too. Game of Thrones. Now this is another Telltale game series. I didn't play this too much. I only downloaded it for further use and haven't played it till now. God of War Remaster, the third one. I played this one on the PS3 and downloaded this when it came available. Haven't got the time to play it the second time yet, but looking forward to it because it was a great hack and slash game. Gone Home Console Edition. Now this is another of those walking simulators, you might say, but I really enjoyed this one too. It's a beautiful story about coming home and family and loss and love, but you should check it out yourself. Gran Turismo, yet again, just a little bit of road racing fun. HBO, the program. Heavy Rain. This came with the deluxe edition of Detroit Become Human, and I haven't really got around to playing this one yet. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Now this was probably my top game of last year, and it's absolutely amazing. And along with Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, it's my top list to recommend to people on the PlayStation 4 system. It's absolutely amazing in its dialogue and voice direction, and you have to play this using headphones. I really missed out on the first playthrough because I played it mostly silently when my child was sleeping, but on the second playthrough I played it with headphones, and it makes all the difference in the world because you are experiencing from schizophrenia and all these other voices, and they really come in surround sound, and it's completely mind-blowing how well it's done. And the graphics are beautiful, and the story is just so sad, sad and beautiful in many ways. The gameplay itself may get a bit dull at sometimes, especially matching the runes on the walls, but often the battle makes up for it and the amazing scenery. Hitman, something I downloaded because I enjoyed the first games on PC back in the day, but didn't really get around playing to this too much because, as I said earlier, I'm more of a casual gamer, and if I play games, they tend to be something that I can just hack and slash or shoot through, so to say. So these ones that require stealth and action really aren't my cup of tea. The Infamous games, something that came with the PlayStation Plus, I played through them. They're nothing special, but they're fun in their own way. Injustice Among Us. Gods Among Us, sorry. Probably the only fighting game I got in this list of mine. I just really don't enjoy that much fighting games because I don't really know how to use all them combos and all that, so I just end up smashing the buttons. But I like this game because of its various characters and level design, but didn't really play this too much either. Inside, another of my recommended list. It's an amazing game with, I don't think there's one line of dialogue in it, but it tells such a great story without saying a word. And I don't think there's actually any tutorials or things like press X to jump or things like that in this game. It's just purely you experiencing it from the very start as this little child running through different scenes, and boy, are you in for a treat in the end. Journey. Now this is a special game on my recommended list too. It's something that you have to experience in one go, because one of the points of this game is that you have to play through it with other people if possible. But the main gist on it is that you cannot choose who you play with, and you can only communicate through different emotes and all that. Once you finish the game in 3 to 4 hours, you get this person's player profile contact and you can chat with them. And it's funny how people can make connections through emotes only and end up talking to each other a lot afterwards. Just Cause 3 and 4. Another one of those games where you can just sit back and relax and shoot everything. Well, especially in this game, everything that moves or doesn't even move. And you don't really have to think too much. I've finished the third one and just started the fourth one. There's the headphone app. Kind of a dull Lara Croft game. Life is Strange 1, Before the Storm, and 2. I really enjoy the one and parts of Before the Storm, but didn't really get too much into the second one yet. Maybe I'll give it a second chance. But yeah, the first one is beautiful, and although it's kind of a walking simulator yet again, where you just kind of discover through things through examination and all that, well, it makes up for it in the story. Limbo, from the makers of Inside. I haven't played through this one yet, though I've heard people say it's fantastic. Little Nightmares is something akin to the Inside games, but more varied in level design, and it's a funny game in a sense and really enjoyable, but some of the control problems with it and the camera moving too slowly and all that makes it a bit frustrating in the end. Mad Max, another game I downloaded, haven't played it since. It was on PlayStation Plus, but people say it's better than its usual acclaim has told it to be, because it got run over by bigger games at the time of the release. Mafia 3, loved the first two games. I played this for through 2 hours and really felt that it had turned itself into a Mafia, Grand Theft Auto clone. And it had really lost most of its roots, so to say. So, kind of a big disappointment for me, because I loved the first two. Metal Gear Solid 5. Now, I really enjoyed the first one, second one, most of it. Really liked the third one, Snake Eater. The fourth one, Guns of the Patriots, well, that was a bit too cinematic for me. There's a lot of things that I remembered, like the fight with the Ray and Rex, but other than that, it was a bit too non-playable, should we say, opposed to this, where you can play any style you want most of the time. What I really didn't like about this game was the fact that it had so many missions that you had to do over and over again, with different kind of limitations and so on, so that was really a bummer. But I did enjoy the overall story and that big twist in the end. And the gameplay itself was just amazing. And the Fox engine was great too. Netflix app, you need that. Never Alone. Now this is a nice side scroller for you if you want to play a beautiful game where you control a little girl and her companion Fox, and later on Spirit Fox. And it's a nice game with beautiful music and, well, not the brightest level design and the greatest gameplay, but it's a nice game. As you can see from here, I've succumbed to EA and bought every year almost the new NHL, just because when the new one releases, the old one loses its players online, and I really dislike playing against the computer, so that's the reason, only reason, I buy a new one every year. Because it doesn't really get that different, and it's quite dull actually. Nier Automata. Now this is a nice Japanese style RPG, kind of in the style of Devil May Cry, but more odd in its story. I made a huge mistake playing this game. It consists of 3 characters and 3 storylines that take up at the same time. But once I finished the first storyline and the second one started from the same beginning, I thought, oh man, you have to play all the same things again, and I quit the game and just looked it up on YouTube. And boy, that was a big mistake, because it seems to me that most of the best gameplay and best story missions are in the 3rd chapter. which is completely different point of view than the first two ones. So things happen. But anyhow, great game, great playability. Sorry, it's a bit late at night. And nice visuals too. Neo, something like that. Downloaded it, haven't played it since. Oddworld, same thing. Just because of nostalgia, I downloaded it. Outlast, haven't played. Overwatch, I used to play a lot when I had this on the DVD or the Blu-ray disc. I used to own it, and then I played, but once I sold that game and tried to buy it online and install it again, I really haven't played it too much because I feel I've kind of, once I hopped off that wagon, so to say, there's been lots of new characters and new maps and all that, and it seems to me that I might get a bit lost. PT, playable teaser for Silent Hill game that got cancelled. I played this from the corner and asked my then girlfriend, now wife, future widow, to say what I had to do next and where did I have to go next, because it was that scary. And it's a shame they didn't get around to making the full game, because this had potential, lots of it. But it created Death Stranding, and that was a great game too. I don't have it on the list since it's something that I played on the disc only, but it pushes gameplay into new directions, and that's one of my recommended games too. Final Fantasy demo, didn't play it. Ratchet Clank, downloaded this because I thought I'd played it with my kid, but haven't really played it that much, although it's in Finnish. Rayman Legends and Rayman Origins. These are fantastic in a sense that you're completely in charge of Rayman in these games, and you cannot blame it on the bad button placement or bad controls, but rather you have to be really sharp with all the jumps, especially the music levels are great in the latter one, so yeah, it's one of the better ones. Rime, haven't played it. Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Now, these are great games. I think they really build up on the Lara Croft legacy and bring new things. They're something akin to the Uncharted series in the sense that they are a bit too dramatic for me in some places, and there's lots of destruction going on without that much feeling into it, so that put aside, there's lots of nice gameplay in this and the other one too. Saints Row, didn't really play that much, probably got halfway, didn't really get into the storyline or the way it was represented. Shadow of the Colossus, a beautiful game, beautiful visuals, nice music, recommended highly, yes, but it didn't give that kind of special vibe for me that I need from a game to really give me those goosebumps years and months later on when thinking about the game. Skyforce, something I played for a couple of minutes, found it really boring. Sleeping Dogs, the same thing actually as Skyforce, so yeah. Sniper Elite, got this when it was on PlayStation Plus, played it for this, maybe the first map or so. Well, the gore is nice, and I really thought I'd enjoy sniping games, but it gets a bit repetitive once you blow a brains out for the 87th time in slow motion, so right. Soma or Soma. Now this is something I didn't get finished because I found it too scary, to be honest. And now they included this safe mode into it, that you cannot get killed. I think I'll look it up once I'll get to that, but yeah. It's a great game with great visuals and really anxiety-inducing level design and soundtrack and graphics. Well, yes, recommended if you're not the faintest of heart. Now, these Sonic games are something that I enjoyed as a child, the Sonic games, and I downloaded these new ones, but maybe I've just gotten too old for them, didn't really like them. Spyro. As opposed to Crash Bandicoot games, I really didn't play Spyro when I was a kid that much. I only probably played the first one a bit. But now when they became available, I played through all three with my daughter, and she liked them very much. And I enjoyed them too. They were really nice. Battlefront. Kind of downloaded it on the whim after playing the demo, liked it, and played it for a couple of hours here and there, but didn't really enjoy it that much after all. Now, The Last of Us, well, I don't think they need any praise from me that much. They're pretty much widely known as the best game ever on the PlayStation console, at least. And I really enjoyed the first one. I played it probably 4 or 5 times through, and I enjoy it every single time just as much. There's not a tedious section on it, and not really a dull moment, maybe here and there, but not dull sections on it, so I really enjoyed this game and the characters on it. And the Left Behind is a nice little bonus on it, but that's nothing too special. It's something that could have been included in the game from the beginning. The Unfinished Swan is something of a combination of a walking simulator, and gameplay wise it's not the most advanced one, but it's a nice game with nice visuals and a nice beautiful story. The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. I thought I'd really enjoy this, but haven't really got into it that much yet. Have played it for a couple of hours and just didn't find it that interesting. The Witness, the game that my wife has mostly played, something that I really do not enjoy that much, unfortunately, because I may end up a bit too dumb for these games and kind of the puzzles that they tend to create or present you. So she likes it, so she can play it. And as you maybe noted, it has just downloaded Uncharted 4. I played that for the first time when I bought the PS4, and I really enjoyed it. It has nice visuals and great story. This War of Mine, the Little Ones, haven't played it. Titanfall, seen people play it but don't like it. Just downloaded it if I happen to stumble upon someone who wants to play it with me. The Division, really didn't enjoy it that much. Tried the beta, wasn't my cup of tea. Tomb Raider, as said before, great games on the modern console, modernized version of the Lara Croft games from the past. Uncharted ones, played these two great games, kind of in the canon of PS4 gamers and PS3 players, in the mostly played games, I think, on PS consoles. Yeah. Until Dawn, really tried to like this, but even when I had the PS4 Pro, it had these amazingly bad latency issues and just graphic halts here and there, and I really didn't get past that, so I just ended up not playing it that much. What remains of Edith Finch? Another maybe somewhat of a, some people would say, a walking simulator, but a great one at that. Wipeout, as stated before. Wolfenstein. Now these are akin to the Doom series, nice shooters with nothing too much to think about when playing them. And Yle Areena, which is a Finnish broadcasting app, and YouTube. What I have installed at the moment, rather than just being in the library, are the Bioshock games, which I enjoy really thoroughly. All three, maybe the 2 is a bit duller than the others, but especially the first one, and I loved Infinite. Some people say it's the worst of the series, but I think it's the best. Great characters, great art direction, just absolutely amazing game. Crash Team Racing, another game I used to play a lot in my childhood, and it was such an awesome moment when they announced that it was getting remade for PS4. Goat Simulator, something that my child likes really much, and I don't really like this so much, so I will just let her and my wife play it. Tales from the Borderlands, this is something that I just downloaded because I just finished Borderlands 3, which was great, and this kind of sets it up, so I wanted to play this one too. This is another PlayStation Plus game back in the day. The Sims for my wife, and the aforementioned Uncharted 4. So there, 120 games and a couple of more we went through. As stated before, some of these I haven't even played that much, and some of these I have played way too much. But I hope you enjoyed this little recap, and something that maybe put you to sleep if you're not that interested in video games. And I just wanted to make this video kind of as a last minute thing, because I am selling my PS4 in expectation of the PS5, and just wanted to have a little break in gaming at this moment. So thank you for watching this video, and may you prosper in your gaming.